There we go. Send that flying. Why is my bot not working? Dino, whatever. Hi guys. Let's make sure you can hear me. Yes. Okay. It is in the yellow and sometimes a little in the red. I'll just move it away from me for a minute. So hopefully today we're going to finish up that rogue. We'll wait a couple minutes for people to actually get the alerts, and then we'll finish up that rogue. With basically just a lot of buckles and a lot of the accessories today. I did a little bit of fixing off camera like I said I would do. So today we'll work on buckles. I'm looking at them now. You guys can't see them while it's loading in. Give me the chat. We'll work on some buckles and make sure all my buttons are in the right spot. Okay, good. And I'm thinking about adding a couple of straps for the dagger, so we'll do some leather work in a new file as well. Leather work. We'll make some little dagger sheaths. And maybe the dagger's out of well, in Marvelous Designer. I'll just export it as an OBJ. But today's just going to be mostly the accessories for his like little buckles here. On the, I want to call it a jacket, but it's a, not a jacket. Oh yeah, we'll also add a baldric. Go back. Yeah, I was either going to do like ties, or I was going to do, buckles. So we'll see. Okay, I'll let you guys kind of decide while I work on the baldric. Because I can change the design. As well as for that sash. I'll need to finish up the sash. But I did some cleanup. Just a little off screen. Hi, welcome in. We're just waiting until about the 10-minute mark since this stream came up. Thanks for watching the streams, guys. This time around, we didn't have much of a plan, but I hope you're liking the rogue. That's been going on. I might just make a fake blade. Because you can make OBJs in Marvelous Designer if you really want. And I do want to finish the sash a little bit more. It's not perfect, so... it's there. On this side of the screen, I have a bunch of references of just like random sashes and stuff. I might just make a bunch of belts. We just might make him like a rogue, but then just go full Final Fantasy on it. We'll see. There's my Discord bot. Took it 2 minutes. Interesting. Come on. Oh, I do want to freeze. I'll keep those frozen. So I'm just going to swap to this while we're waiting. Because we'll still give it the 4 minutes before I actually start anything. But I did a little bit of fixing, so I froze down here. And then where is it? I applied some stiffening here, so I used the seam taping tool, so it's basically interfacing. I just put it there off screen because he was having a little bit of trouble with the fit. I'd like a more Dorito fit, but we're just gonna have to go with this because I did want this a little bit lower. Dorito fit. I wanted it to have a little bit more of a streamlined shape, but here we are. He is our little throw it all together little dumpster bar rogue here. So I'll just turn that off. There we go. See, it looks so much nicer when you can't see the internal lines. It's not simulating, so I'll just Control K. So far this is where we're at. I froze down here because of the shape that I like. It's just popping out just because of what's underneath him now, and that's what's causing this fit, contributing to this fit being funky. But listen, he doesn't understand how anything works. He's just our little goblin rogue. He's just an absolute gremlin. Like, not an actual goblin, but you know. It's like while I'm waiting for people to stop by. Alright, there we go. Now let's turn on thick textured surface. It's like, and while we're waiting for people to come in, so you can see here, this is a curved side geometry. Oftentimes with leather, especially if you're not going to finish the edge well, you're not going to be having that curved side geometry. So you can just turn off the curved side geometry little checkbox here. And right now everything's, what is it? Everything is currently not frozen, so that's why it's taking me a little bit longer. Actually, you can see the bar that I'm blocking. But there we go. I'll probably even make these thicker, but you can see it's a little more accurate to the leather. If you wanted to have curved side geometry, you'd also want to have some sort of, like, when you seal leather, you're going to be having a wax, or there's a specific seal chemical that they apply to the edges of the leather when you're doing leather work. So generally that's applied, so you'll see like a red stripe or something like that on leather goods that you buy nowadays. But in this case, he just has the raw leather here. So I'm going to go ahead and refreeze everything. And so oops. We are going to either, I'll let the chat pick. I'm just unfreezing this. So we'll either do buckles for this, or I can do knots. I don't like tying knots live, just because Murphy's Law is that while I'm streaming, everything's going to go wrong. Or we could do buckles here. So I'll let the chat decide. I almost kind of want to put like a little survey here on the screen. We're just going to try it. We're just going to try it. I'll do buckles or the word knots. So we'll either do buckles or knots with the center front ties here. So I will let the chat kind of think about it and then comment what you want to see. Because I can tie a knot, but it does take a little time in Marvelous Designer to do that. So think about it. I'm going to see if I can. Where's the magical text that I just created? That's the color of the font. Properties. Whatever. Alright, you guys can vote while I'm thinking. I'm going to throw this over here. Ah. Okay, those are there. So, we haven't seen buckles much on the stream yet. Or Rosemary, or I was going to do an actual like change these to laces and then make a tie. Because you guys haven't seen buckles or ties in a while. I don't like tying knots because it can take some time. But, well, while we're waiting on that vote, I'm actually going to open Marvelous Designer a second time. Don't normally do this. Thank you, Cat Feeder. I don't like having 2 instances of Marvelous Designer open. File, save project. While you guys are kind of deciding on that, I'm going to be working on like at least one dagger sheath and then some of the straps. So he'll at least have a couple of weapons on him. Velcro! You know, I love the idea of Velcro. It doesn't really... Well, we should say Velcro is the branded name. We should say hook and loop tape, technically. Though it doesn't really fit the theme. So I'm gonna throw that there. While we're deciding, I'm gonna make an OBJ real fast. We're gonna make the dagger. Yeah. We're gonna make a dagger and a sheath kind of built in together. No, I'll make... Trying to decide. Hey, listen, if you want to do Velcro, since I know you're joking, I'm just going to take it further and pretend that you really asked a question about Velcro. If you really want to do Velcro, you could apply you can just make it a square and then sew the squares together, and there you go. It's Velcro. Right now I'm making his dagger just a generic dagger sheath, because then we're just going to be doing a lot of the leather and the accessories today. We're going to do something like this. So right now I'm just making the dagger sheath here. This is not really paying much attention to the actual shape that I need. Too much. So we have one for buckles and one for laces. Remove link to editing. Layer clone over. So right now I'm making the leather sheath for a dagger for him, because you can also make accessories here. So let me grab fabric. We're going to do tooling leather. Fine. Oh, leather, L-E-A-T-H-E-R. Trim leather, yes. So this is a new file. I actually have the other one right behind this. So if it's a little slow, that is 100% why. And change the color, no. And turn on thick textured surface. This stuff is actually pretty thin. Let me just simulate it. Layer clone over is nice, but if you're trying to make something like a pocket, it is not always perfect. There we go. Hello! Why is there pressure suddenly? Oh, it's because of the strengthen. Haha! Thank you, strengthen. Actually, this is a great tool. That's actually helpful, shockingly enough. These are symmetrically linked still, so I'm just doing this. Flopping it around. Let's see. One buckle, 2 laces. We'll let more people decide while I'm doing this here. So right now I'm just giving it an imperfect design here. Fine. Be that way. So right now I'm still just doing that leather sheath for his dagger, so we can have at least have some more accessories so that we know he's a rogue, right? So this is layer cloned over. I am removing the linked editing because I actually don't want the bottom to be matching. So we're gonna do it this way. So we need some more accessories for him. Okay. There's that. And then I'm going to be using the smooth curve tool here just to smooth this out a little bit. Still is not how I want it to look. So these are no longer symmetrically linked, so I'm just grabbing them both at the same time and moving them so I can get there. There we go. That looks a little bit better. I'm just going to be making a attachable, like little strap here just for design. Offset is internal line. We're going to do 20 millimeters. That makes it about a ½ an inch. Using I for the trace tool. Oh, actually, I'm going to do this one too. So I have it on both sides. Offset as internal line, 20. Trace tool, so I am holding shift to select them all. And make sure to highlight the edges. And trace this pattern. Okay, I got those ones. Cut. Delete. So I'm using the free sewing tool to just sew this directly on top, and then I'm going to increase the simulation thickness. And then, come here, you. And then these should actually be the same. So I'm actually going to split, because I don't want to seam down that center, so I'm actually splitting this, splitting in half, uniform split. Just for the design of this dagger sheath. Cut. Oh, I should have done cut and sew, whatever. So we've still got 2 on the laces, so you guys are still able to vote until I finish this thing. Where you guys at? Come here, you. Superimpose over. F to focus. That looks cattywampus. What's going on? What did I do wrong? Sewing tool, edit sewing tool. What is this? Delete. And as you can see, I am just sewing in 3D to make it a little easier. Come here. Grabbing and just moving this in the air. Superimpose over. Superimpose. Just did it. Over. Is this mine? What is going on? Oh, mine normal isn't flipped. Where are we at? Flip normal. Go to the outside. Go to the outside. And holding shift. Oops. Reverse sewing. There we go. Come here, you guys. Come here. Where is that? Reverse sewing. There you go. And flip my normals on this one. So these are colliding just because it's still 20 particle distance. So I'm going to bring this down to 10. Raise this up. I raise it up so it can stand on mounts. Okay. And you can see here actually. Hello, we are working on, I'm working on a little dagger sheath here for our rogue, but I'm still taking votes for how you want his center gambeson to close. So you can choose between buckles, or you can choose between like an actual like little tie. So I just used the word knots. So you can see here how this is bowing outward. So this is because the seam is not turned. So if I need to basically select all of these, and right now it's custom angle. I'm just going to choose turned. And now it's nice and flat. And so the reason that I cut this up at the center back here, or at the back of the sheath, is because I want to merge these pieces together so that I don't have that, that line there. Obviously you don't have to do that, but it does make it look a little bit nicer in Marvelous Designer. It would, this would already be welded when you export it, but I like to do it like this. Merge. There. Okay, so let me turn on thick textured surface. This is definitely not as thick as tooling leather. Oh, and I do want to turn off curved side geometry. With leather, it's not going to be that curved. So I want these to be much thicker. So Control A. And I'm going to go down to my simulation properties and go to add thickness rendering. I'm just going to give it another 2 millimeters. Let's see how that looks. So that's nice. I can see the center. So when you do this, you're going to be having it go on both sides. So the center, so the actual flat pattern you have is going to be in the center. So do keep that in mind, because it does it does change how things fit due to what is called turn of cloth. In like the real like sewing world, it would be called turn of cloth. Well, look at that. The leather's doing more stuff. And there's the pointy top. Come here, you. So tiny. Hee hee. Okay. So just for the fun of it, I'm also going to take this. And I'm going to make this our blade really fast. I'll have to export it differently, but that's fine. No one's even going to see it, but it'll go inside. More smooth curve. Yes, it does change the geometry, but you do need to export it as a thick textured surface. So you can export thick, but you do need to make sure that you export it thick. Otherwise, you're just going to be exporting as textured surface. And that's how you get, that's how it looks like it's distance from each other. Where it's actually, that's the thickness that you've chosen. So you need to make sure that it's the thick textured surface that you're exporting. Oops. Control H. Come here, you. Merp. Hello. So funny how it's curving out like that. But that's just because it's a point here. I might just leave it as is so that it's like empty. I don't know if I actually want to like place this inside of it. Because I'd still have to use an OBJ anyway. This does need to be thinner. And that should be 5. Okay, come here, you. And let's increase the simulation or the collision thickness to 3. Oh. Hey there. Right now I'm just making a dagger while I'm waiting for people to vote. We've got 3 for making a knot for the closure, and 1 for the buckles as a closure. So we're making a little dagger for him, a little dagger sheath. I'm trying to decide if I even want to have a dagger in there, just because we only have the 2 hours, so I'm looking at it while people are deciding. I might just have it be empty. Oh no, now we're tied. Okay, we're tied 2 buckles. All right, I'm just not gonna do the dagger. I'm not gonna actually do the dagger. Sorry, guys. Let me grab this. Come here, you. Oh, that's what I did wrong. That's so funny. Now it looks like a drinking horn. Okay, we're gonna try that again. Come here, you. What? Edit. Smooth curve tool. Z, convert to curve point. Okay. Grabbing. Holding shift. Fine. Come here. You know what? Fine. I'm leaving it as it is. It's pissing me off. You vote for an easy workflow. I would too. If it would be great if it would actually do that. I'm gonna smooth this out though. Come here. Edit pattern. Fine, I'm just gonna leave it like this. It's fine, it's just a long dagger piece. And to flatten this out, let's simulate. To flatten it out like you guys saw earlier, I'm just going to select all my seam lines actually using the B hotkey. Not custom angle, we want it turned. And see how that's flattening this out already? And this is keeping it up, which is nice. But I can specifically select this piece. We'll do custom angle, and we can just mess with it as well. So if we don't want it completely flat, I can adjust my fold angle. With the slider here, you can also use the fold arrangement tool, but I do like, it can still be a drinking horn case. It can. What are you doing? What are you doing? Well, why are we dancing? What's up? What's up? What are you doing? I didn't say it was dance time. That's what I thought. Okay. do a little bit bigger. Okay, and I'm gonna add a little bit more leather here. Just because I don't, I want to make it a problem, I guess. Internal polygon. I'll just add another strap. That'll be the actual piece that attaches this to it. So we're gonna go like this. Make it symmetrical. Symmetrical. And then offsets, offset as internal line, reverse the direction, and we'll make that 50. Okay. Right click, extend and trim to pattern outline. Extend and trim and add point to pattern outline. What is this measurement? 55.9. Split. 55.9. Okay. And then this one will just be straight across the back. And then same with that offset. Wrong way. Okay. And again, extend and trim to pattern outline. Selecting my internal lines and all the exterior lines that create them, so I can right click and choose trace as pattern, and then I get both of those. Oops. And then this will be it for the dagger. Then I'll have to make the belt that attaches to it. So at least we get the one accessory here. That doesn't fit. What is that sewing line length? You little brat. Come here, B. 71, okay. Close enough. Okay. You be more square. N hotkey for the sewing. Okay. I'm gonna freeze this so I don't make any mistakes and completely ruin everything. Superimpose over, superimpose. Select them both, superimpose over, and then we'll be done with the sheath, and then all voting will be done. Okay, where are we at? Where are we at? There we go. Not bad. This looks like a coffee cover for some reason. This will actually come down to a 5 particle distance. Ooh, you know what? I might actually do something that's not specifically perfect, but it might be kind of fun to see. I might make this into a quote-unquote button and have it be treated as a trim. How do I keep it open? Pressure. Oh yeah, the Rosemary answered it for me. Thank you, Rosemary. There we go. So it's open both by the trim as well as it's open because of the angle that I have the sewing at. Because it's the stiff like tooling leather, I actually have the fold angle deciding my thickness here. The trim is angry when I make too many differences. But it's both of them are doing both things. Yay! We're upside down. So, didn't want to do that. Come back here. Control K to freeze it. So I'm going to try my best here. I'm going to be an absolute menace. File, save as, file, export, OBJ. I'm going to be an absolute menace and export this as a OBJ, as well as I'm going to save this as another piece. Oh, that is true. I could do contrasting. I was going to be really lazy and bring it in as a button. But yeah, let's do copy. We'll do a little darker and then apply it to the trim. Yay! And that trim also needs to have more thickness. This one needs to have more thickness. 3. File, export, OBJ. Yes. All my basics. I don't have any sewing and sewing, like top stitching on this, just for the sake of it being a little bit too complex. I can do that now. I guess I'll do that. So with a lot of these leather pieces, I'm going to just say that this is glued on, just because I can, and that's a thing that happens. But these ones I'll have be stitched. And I'm going to get away with that top stitch like that. So if I go to my top stitch window, default top stitch, this is definitely not the thickness that a leather piece needs, so I would need more. Pick stitch is fine. For thickness, I'm going to make it 0.5. Actually, I'm going to make it 1, because you would use a very thick leather. Length 4. That's fine. No, we'll do 4.2. I wanted that to be different. There we go. The spacing, honestly, is fine. I guess I could. I'll have them touch. Because I wanted it to be a little thicker. And then I'll change the color to be, let's just say it's black thread, just for that contrast. Okay, so I'm going to save this as both, exporting that as the new OBJ. Yes, save, yes. If I placed it right, so I need to place it in as close as I can to 0, 0. We'll save that. I might have to change where it is. Oh yeah, no, I'm going to move that. When you're making a button, specifically, if you wanted to say make this a button, you want to make sure it's on 0, 0 as best you can. File, export. This is the last time I'll do it. Because there's 0, 0. And then I'll just save this also as a separate garment piece. Okay, file, save as, garments, desktop. Oh, I made my desktop messy. Good gosh. Oh well, I'll have to fix that later. Close. So we have our guy here so far, but now now we are specifically at a tie of a tie versus buckle. Maybe I'll just do both. Let me do this too. So I can just bring in import or add garment sheath. I can choose add, and I can just have the garment in my scene. Or if I really wanted, I can also add a new default button, and I can create my own button. You need a thumbnail. I am gonna pick that. That's my most beautiful. Oh. No. My most beautiful thumbnail, and I shouldn't have picked that. Rude. I shouldn't have picked that. What did I end up picking? It was one of the PNGs, but I think because it was opening it both at the same time, it crashed. Okay. Don't pick an asset specifically from your textures. Don't do that. I did save before this though, so it's fine. File, open, actually recent, not Sheath, medieval rogue. Ah, fine. File, open, project. Full outfit, thank you. Open. Like, we don't want that one. Alright, so this is where we were. I can also change out different pieces if I wanted, so that's probably what's going to happen with... We'll probably put the sheath on his arm or something. But let's just do the buckle here. We'll do a buckle just because I guess it'll be a little bit faster. Everything's still frozen, so there's no change here. Sorry, I'm zooming around. Hardware and trim, I am going to freeze the rest of this. And we'll pick this one. Buckle. I don't want that one. We'll do a... I can't decide if I want a D-ring or a slider. It's definitely not consistent. Oh, you know, we'll do both. We'll do both, actually. Not buckle, ring. Oh, sure. D-ring, where are you? Hello, D-ring. Retarget over here. Come here. We do have a buckle library. It is in the hardware and trim section. They're not, you know, the best, but they're there. They definitely exist. Where do I... I'm over here just like, what side do men wear their buckles on? Right to left. Okay, we'll do it this way. Oh, but it's already this way. Gosh darn it. You know what? Whatever. He stole it from a female guard. Welcome to my world now, everybody. No. Eh. Control J. Okay. In my world, the direction of the buckle doesn't matter. And I definitely want to increase the... Does this actually have collision, or is this came in as a trim? I'm simulating this to see what happens. Because it's showing that there's weight. Okay. I don't want that. I want a D-ring as an OBJ. Oh, it's a zip file. See, but they have to come in as trims. So as you saw, let me bring it back. Right now with trims, there's no collision. While that's loading, where is my D-ring? Public. I don't know why it's a zip file. User's public document. Okay. See. Users public. Assets. Hardware trim. There it is. Ring. OBJ. Why is it a zip? I need to tell them that this is a zip and it should not be a zip. Thank you. Refresh. OBJ. D-ring folder. Add to workspace. Load type. Add. Avatar. Okay. Yes, thank you. There we go. Now I can place it properly. You hide again. You're going. Get out of here. Get out of here. All right. So now that it's being imported as an avatar, the reason that we were already placing these as if they were already closed is so that I don't have to actually calculate this and I can just bring my D-ring into the space. And so that it'll have collision. So here we go. So I will do the 2D ring method here. I'm just making sure that it's slid through. This needs to move, so we'll give that a second. You can add your own models to the library. As you just saw me do, I refreshed my library after editing the actual folder. If you want to add your own favorites to the library, you just hit this plus button up here. This needs a lower skin offset of 1. This one also is going to need a lower rendering thickness, so we're going to do this as also a 1. Give that a second. I don't like doing this too much. Select mesh. Ah, come here. All of you, come here. Get out. Fine, we're gonna do it this way. 2. Where are you? Come here. Just this tiny spot. Where are you? Where are you in all of my pieces? Aha. I need this lower half. So there's that. Turn off simulation. I'm going to bring this in again. I don't recommend doing this. If you did this, I would make a D-ring. I would cheat it and make your D-ring with 2 edges. Stacking them like this, I don't personally like doing. Yes, because it's not a human shape avatar. Yep. Come here. Because this can cause a lot of collision issues. Whoops. Don't move it. If you aren't the most careful. Because this is real dense and real ugly. So I would actually recommend, if you wanted to do something like this, to make them into one OBJ when you're working on this. Because most of the time in real life with D-rings and such, like I would actually make this like that. And make that one shape with enough space for you to thread a piece through. Where is this? Okay, we're going to do green. Because I need to have space for this to go through and around. So, do as I say, not as I do. You can see how much this is going to cause a bit of a problem, most likely in a minute. There we go. I would do, if you were to make one yourself, I would do something like this. I would do something like this shape so that you can actually slide it through. Shift Q to bring it back. Yeah. I'm going to freeze this because that doesn't need to be thought about. It doesn't need to be touched anymore. And I'm going to reduce the collision thickness of this one. And we'll give it a second. Yeah. So this is what I don't like to do specifically. I need to hinge both of you more. Out. There we go. Pull through. Get out of there. So if you were to do an actual buckle, like a double buckle, I would actually make this yourself and make it look like that. Or you could, do it not in Marvelous Designer, obviously. But since I basically have this twice, but this one's longer, and I have these internal lines, I'm going to be taking this internal line and pivoting it so that this is pulled back through like you would do with a real buckle. If you want to go the hard way, come here. Bloop. Give that a second. And then we'll let Velcro do it. As that one person asked. Okay. This one I can now move a little bit. I'm going to make this... Oh, that's why the skin offset should be 1. Oh, so much better. Okay, so the skin offset's 1 on this one, and the skin offset is 2 on this one. So I can start stair-stepping it down, but I need to be careful with my skin offset, because otherwise it can just pass right through if I don't have enough space. As you can see here, that's happening. Gonna leave it with the 2 and the 1. Just because when we zoom out, it's not gonna make much of a difference. It is vibrating angrily though. Where's this? I'm just gonna go ahead and smooth curve tool that to pull it away. We'll give it a second. It's loading. Let's see. Importing avatars to use this trim. Yeah, you just saw me do that. When I imported this avatar, to import avatars as trim, just using an OBJ, add to workspace, you're going to have a load type option. Load type add, object type avatar. You can change your object type and to make it into a trim. But trims do not have collision right now. So when you import it, it's not going to have, as a trim, it's not going to have collision. It will have weight, and it will attach weight to a single vertex on that garment where you place it, but it does not have collision, which is why these buckles are brought in after the belt has been simulated here, like this, so that I can have that look that it's already there. In fact, a more accurate look would be to do this, which I don't want to do, but I will show you. Because weight this would technically be pulled down. So this would be resting up here while this portion down here is lower. If this was technically a tight buckle, this would have strain and it would be closer to the center, but the strain would be on the D-ring here. And I'm not going to do that just for the sake of the stream right now. The actual, if you own a backpack, when the buckle it starts warping here. Let's see. Pull up. And these collisions are this collision is just going to be happening just because it's such a small, tiny piece. And I think these are kind of ugly mesh. Yeah, it's not the prettiest mesh. I mean, it's there. Just a little ugly. Could be better. You can import OBJs that have intersecting geometry, but there is a problem with OBJs that have intersecting geometry because because how Marvelous Designer works is the direction of the normals is very important, and that is how it bases everything on and how the layers should work. So one of the very first streams I did, someone had that problem where they just had a bunch of OBJs intersecting with each other that had normals going let's just say very simply, they had a bunch of circles touching each other to make one giant star, but they didn't clean up their OBJ. So all of those normals were still being accounted for. So because of the skin offset and the direction of the normals, it was sucking into the geometry of the actual avatar, the cloth. And so the person was very confused by what was going on. And it was because there were so many right faces, or there were so many normals going in different directions that it wasn't actually calculating it correctly, just because their very unclean OBJ was causing that issue. As soon as they cleaned it up and just had the one normal and a much cleaner interior geometry, then that problem ceased to occur for that person. So clean up your geometry. So if you were to do something like this, let's just say, I would make this center bar where it's colliding into one piece. I would not remove the I would not leave it as it is, because if something is colliding, whoa, zoom it in too close. Such a small thing. So if these pieces are colliding, let's just say, and I'm not careful, one more time, and then I'm going to give up if I don't do this right. So if these pieces are colliding, it's going to want, and I don't have a large enough skin offset to account for that. So the skin offset is basically like a shield, or think of it like a bubble. Your skin offset and your collision thickness are both bubbles. So it's your space bubble for your cloth, and it's your space bubble for your mesh. So it's not that the skin offset is based on the normals, it's that the direction of the fabric is based off the normals. So all of my layers here are based on the direction of my normal. So my avatar, his skin is on the correct, the normal of this avatar is facing the correct direction. A lot of issues that people encounter when they're bringing in their avatars, custom avatars into Marvelous Designer, is that, like, let's just say my avatar is solid black. I don't know what's going on, and all of my fabric is being sucked into his body. I don't know what's happening. It's because their normal is flipped, because it wants to go inside. So this is what like the flipped normal looks like, because we are inside our avatar here. So it's the darker side is your flipped normal. So everything is based on layers, based on the direction of your normal. All of the values, even with pressure, is based on the direction of your normal. So you can see here, this is the flipped normal. So if I had pressure basically on this piece, let's just say, the pressure is applying, I wish I could draw on the screen. The pressure is applying from like towards the dark side. So if I have a pressure value of 10, this is going to push upward from underneath this piece. But when it's flipped over, it's going to be pressing towards that piece. So because of the direction of the fabric and the direction of the normal, that's how the pressure value is going to work, and that's how the layer value is going to work. That's also why we tell you to turn off your layers as much as possible, especially when you're done. Because if this was a layer, if this was long, let's see, if this was long, this is layer 3 and this is layer 3. So if this was really long and this was layer 2 and this was layer, let's just say 1, and it's long and it's hanging out down here, it would actually collide and go inside because it wants to be the lower layer. So I hope that explains it a little bit, but just import as clean of mesh as you can. Now I wish I could copy paste this. So anyway, we've done this guy. So we'll do another one here. I could do a tie. I'm gonna do thick textured surface again just so it makes it look prettier. So you can see here, that's what that's gonna end up looking like. I'm gonna make this a little bit cleaner. So 1, 2, oh, just give me a point here. Edit pattern. Holding X will split your line and click. That is a little trick. X. Or just click. Okay. This is why I don't like Bezier curves. I know some people really do. I just do not. There. Thanks, Rosemary, for the timer. All right. So that's basically that top piece. File, export, OBJ selected. Yeah, no worries. Have a good night. Okay. I'm going to try to finish that up. But But I'm going to move on from those buckles just because I've done the buckle once. I'm actually going to go ahead and delete the voting tab here. Oh my God. Oh, okay. Oops. Give that a second. So then we'll work on the, we'll put his dagger strap on him for his arm. And then we'll give him another little baldric that's a little leather. So you would basically do exactly this and then apply all of the buckles to it. I accidentally, as you just see here, I selected everything in the scene and I'm exporting it as an OBJ. And I did not mean to do that. I have the chat over here. Wish I could get it closer. Oh my gosh, this is going to make it really ugly, isn't it? Okay. I don't know where it's saved it to, but I don't want to know. Where's the chat? Okay. So, basically, that is done. I'm going to freeze it. And I'm going to be bringing in the sheath. File, import. I'm going to try it one more time by adding it as a button. I'm going to save first, too. I'm just going to pick a different picture. Sheath. Maybe that won't break it. Pick the file. Desktop. Why did they change it? I used to be able to have any file I wanted. Button files. Ah, there it is. OBJ. Desktop, sheath, open. Sure, add a size. Blah, blah. This is now changed just because we also have got some version of this from Clo. So I actually haven't had much of a chance to try it. Whatever. I'm just going to bring it in the right way. That's a brand new update as of the other day. So add garments into my scene. We're going to choose my sheath. Add, make sure not to choose open. No, I don't want to load anything. Oh, that's a big sheath. I definitely made it too big. That's okay though. We'll just make it smaller. We'll put it on his arm. And probably maybe one on the leg. It's synchronizing. The reason this is slow, as you can see, I've seen a lot of people complain about things getting really slow. There's just so much in the scene. If I didn't resize it, I wouldn't have had to deal with this. Because there's so much geometry here. Actually, you know what I can do is Control A. I can just also deactivate everything that's not the sheath while I resize this, and then I'll put it on him. Control A, J. J is the activate. Woo! Look at it go. Little ice cream cone sheath, yeah. Don't make fun of his sword. It's his sheath. So, Look at it go. We'll definitely need to make that smaller. It's a dagger, not a... It might be a 4-scooper. And that's why he gets in bar fights all the time. That's it. They're just insulting his sheath. His sword. His little dagger. They're like, what is that, an ice cream cone? He's like, no, it's not. He just has a temper tantrum. Okay. Where's the sheet? Where's that sleeve? Well, everything else is deactivated. I'm going to activate all of those. And then let's throw a little leather around here. And it's definitely going to be long. Hold on. Mark. I don't want button. I want my fabric again. Full grain leather. Where is that stripe? Where are you? Oh. How far away are you existing? Come here, you. I'm going to turn on the arrangement points. Turn off quality render. Why are my arrangement points so small? Reset. Oh, it's because I have my tiny little... I know why. It got shrunk because of my tiny, tiny little buckles. This is interesting. Anyway. Make sure I know which direction my normals are in. And stitch it to itself. Make it shorter. And I'm going to be doing... So, because I wasn't paying attention, I can't use the arrangement points because I did things out of order. But that's fine because I'll just use the fold arrangement tool. Bloop. Bloop. We bloopin'. Okay. So I just added some internal lines just so I can make sure that it gets around the arm. And I'm going to increase or decrease the particle distance to 10 and simulate. So this is it. This is going to be our rogue's like trigger. Like, don't call it an ice cream cone. Oh, let's make this layer 5. And 80. 70. Because I want this shrinkage left and warp, so I'm actually shrinking it to the left and the right. I'm going to just tack it for now to the sleeve. Tacked it to itself. That's awesome. You can see I made the mistake without tacking it to the sleeve. Maybe that's why he's just, like, on our story, maybe that's why he's just in the bar because someone stole his dagger. And he's trying to find the guy, but he was just blackout drunk the entire time. So people who make fun of it, like looking like an ice cream cone, he's just gonna flip out for no reason on. Like irrationally so. Like, is it mine? But turns out he really just like left it at home. Or his mom took it. And he doesn't, like, she's also an adventurer and he just doesn't know how she got there. And she just was like, now you'll have to come visit me. I like that idea. Unless you guys think of a better story idea, I'm liking that one. Come on. Trying to wrap it around. Is it just not? They're both active, right? Oh, it's not. Okay, that's probably why. Okay, what do we got? We got layer 0, we got layer 3, we got layer 3. This is now going to become layer 2. Not 32. 2. Going to stay underneath. While this is pressing down on the arms, so we can get at least some wrinkles here. And all of these will also be layer 5. Why in my mind am I wisecracks, right? Like this is the rogue that we've all decided to create. You guys are all equally responsible for this monstrosity. And for this story, whether you like it or not. Well, we'll give it a second. Okay. So this is sliding around, and I don't like that it's doing that, so... how do I want to change that? I'll just add another pin. Or tech, I should say. Tech. I might add a couple more straps. While that's thinking. Or I might just move it down to his leg. I'm gonna look at it. Oops, I don't need to do any more. This one also needs much thicker rendering, so we'll do 3. And then go to thick textured surface. And remove that piece. Where is it? No curve side geometry. There it is. And this is... I'm gonna grab that one. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go fabric library. I want the lamb's leather texture on this. There we go. And then we'll go back to fabric. Color, eyedrop. Where is it? Come here, you tiny little guy. Okay, color, eyedrop. Take. Because there we get the texture. Okay, so. Now that we're here. It would be really funny if he just has like a bunch of these giant ones. Because they're so big. I kind of want to just put a bunch of them on them. He's the ice cream man. You guys have ruined this. Where did this go? What are you doing over there? Excuse me. Did you enjoy your journey? How did... Okay. I'm not going to ask how you got there, but, like, don't do it again. So there was a little target, by the way, if you guys didn't see that. There's a little target there. I'm going to be a lazy, right, for this 1 second, and I'm going to go bop and bop. And this ice cream cone's going to be smaller. He's trying to sneak out of the bar. He's just like, listen, it's a sentient ice cream cone sheath. What if it's actually a, what is it? What is the word? Okay, load. While it's doing that, what is the word? What if it was actually a mimic, but it was like, I'm going to be an ice cream cone, and he thought it was a sheath, and he's like, this is my sheath now. And the mimic's just like, oh no, what do I do? And so it keeps giving it like his daggers, and it just keeps eating them. And I was like, this is great. And so he's just going like really, he's just driving himself mad, just trying to figure out what's going on with all of the daggers. It's like they just keep getting eaten. Hasn't eaten him yet. But like at some point, it's just like tries to sneak out of the bar. I think it's because there's pressure in there or something. I don't know. All right, simulate. That'd be funny. I do need to make this smaller. I think it'd be funny. Just like a rogue just having the absolute worst time. He thinks he has really high stats in like detect, but like nah, he really doesn't. And stealth, but he's just, maybe he has those stats, but like he just has really low intelligence. All right, this is way too large. Excuse me, ice cream sheath. So this is actually a great example. Let me do this. So you see, you're kind of seeing me struggling here. This has no layer value, and this one still does. Let me move this. So lessons, everybody, do as I say, not as I do. This has a layer value of 3, and this has a layer value of technically 0. So this is trying to go underneath everything with a layer value. So if I hit Control A and make 0 layers, which is what you want to do in the end, anyway, and then I'm just going to add a layer value to the sentient mimic ice cream sheath. Layer 1, and now it'll just pop out. So this actually just isn't in place yet. I'm just kind of figuring this out. So we could do one large ice cream cone. Two. Or we could probably do, well, I'll at least should make it smaller. I'm going to give it 2 points of contact so that it doesn't pivot around. If you do it this way, the way that I'm doing this, you don't have to create a sewing relationship. You can just use the pins. Or not the pins, edit tack. Or add tack in this case. Tack to cloth. Welcome to the stream where ice cream sheaths are sentient. Yep. Don't ask questions about why. It's just that's what's happening. Superimpose over. Where are you? You're inside. Over. Big Sue spoon. I mean, that's true. So I'll do another tack. So this is another way to do it. It's not pretty, but you can get away with it. I don't want to do there. Let's see. I can just do it like this. Bob. We'll give that a second because I added that. You can see it's loading. See, that would be great. I feel like that would be great if he was like, how we've kind of talked about it is he's not like a good, I feel like he wouldn't be a good cook, but like if we had another build and he was like a chef rogue, but he just kind of wasn't good, so he just ended up stealing people's food and calling it his own. Like if he had stats in like cooking skill. Edit tack. Where are you? Where are you? Ah. Center. Edit tech. So you can do things this way. I personally like to do sewing lines, like internal sewing lines to sew it into place. So if you were to do it that way, turning this off so I can see, I would just create this sewing line here, or use the center back. So I'm going to do one there, and then where are his arm doodles? So if the tacks aren't working well, you can also just select where they are in the 3D space. So here's this line, so I'm just going to create two straight lines, two straight internal lines. And I'm going to use free sewing specifically. Going back to this sheath. Could I move it closer? Absolutely. Is that probably going to happen on the stream? No. And then I'm going to do the top and do part of that. And then the bottom, do a lower part because I can see they're overlapped. And where is that? And I'm going to move this internal line to where I was kind of playing with it. And I've sewn it and I've moved it, so it's catching up. Imagine if that was your build though, like a rogue with just that. It's like a rogue chef. It's like he's not actually good at it, but we just like to let him think he is. I guess I'm gonna attach it there. What I need to do is actually freeze the sleeve, and I just haven't done that, and that would make this so much faster. Okay. Oh, I need to fix those. Because the sleeve doesn't need to be moving anymore. 1, 2. Freeze. And then let's do, just so this back piece will actually stay in place, little free sew. It's overlapping, so we're gonna do that. Half an hour to go. Thank you, Rosemary. And then once this is kind of in place, I'm going to also force it into a straighter shape. And then I'm going to add at least some sort of baldric or belt, and we'll do another buckle. Where's my... I still have all the tabs up here. Bop. Superimpose over. Ten. Superimpose over. Thank you. All right, let that figure itself out. Freeze the sleeve. That would be a pretty cool band name. You know, I actually don't hate that it's like kind of sticking out funny. Nope, never mind, I do. Pin. Tack. Go back in place. Is his ice cream? He's at the ready for ice cream. Always prepared. Come on. Listen, I know there's a lot of mesh in the scene, but thank you. All right, fine. Edit tack. Or pin, not pin box. Yeah, it is edit tack. Delete. It's like that's just silly. It's probably of how I've attached these straps here. Let me see. Okay, you needs to move over here. There we go. Check my sewing. Okay, hopefully that fixes it. Let me make sure. All right, I guess I am moving these. Come here, you. Back up here. Make this lower. Right, let's see where we are. And then just make it smaller. All right, that should probably fix it. And then we'll be able to just freeze everything else and then throw the baldric on there. All right. Is this aiming better? Okay. Now I can turn off that attack. Attack. It'll freeze everything and then it'll be faster. Okay. There you go. Control A, Control K, Control K. And last time. Okay. Now we can just give him... We'll pretend all of these are like that. Now we'll just give him a baldric, or basically just like that weapon belt. So basically he's going to get a beautiful leather sash. Okay, don't want to be that mean. We'll just make this a full tube. Beautiful leather tube. Come here. And then I'm going to add an internal line so I can fold it. Enter to finish. Where are you? There you are. Come here. I have so much in the scene. Okay. Come here. Definitely too long, but that's okay. Then using the fold arrangement tool again. Then I can just move that a little closer. Turn it. Okay, that's definitely still too long. Come here. Let's see. We'll make it actually the super basic style, as if he did have a sword. And then internal lines. This is going to sew directly to that. And then make sure everything is no layers, because I don't want to deal with that. Control A. Okay, get off the fold tool. Layer 0. Make this one layer 1. We'll just do this for a second. Okay, that is 20 particle distance. And then let me see what I want to do. Probably just going to be a very basic one. While this sorts itself out for a second. Okay. Well, I'll probably just keep it as a loop. He also sells Girl Scout. Listen here. This poor guy. I mean, at least he is selling Girl Scout cookies. Alright, give it a second. Well, because I'm looking at like a basic one, like a basic baldric. So we're looking at something like this. So I just need to fix that shape there. He's gonna get that badge. The helper badge. That's what happened to his dagger. He was helping an old lady cross the road, and then she just was like, she stole his dagger because she's actually like a level 99 in stats and in stealth. He's just having the worst time. He's just like, listen, I didn't ask for any of this. Let's see. This needs to become tapered, and so does this. Other way. This is our rogue, our chef rogue. He's trying to get stats. He's actually a chef originally. He comes from a background. His family owns a restaurant. His family owns a restaurant, and so he's just like, I want to be a rogue. I don't want to keep making food. So he's like, but he still has most of his stats just in cooking. But he's like, I'm going to put all my stats into being a rogue now because I'm cool. And so he's just been living this life. Turns out he's actually just been stuck in the bar. He's actually like, he thinks he's like this cool rogue, right? Except for he's actually like just working in the bar as the chef this whole time, whether he likes it or not. And he's just like, he doesn't realize it. That's also the best part. He thinks everyone there is like part of his guild, and they're like teaching him how to become more of a rogue. But they're not. He's just he's still cooking. And he's like, wait a minute. That's why this is an ice cream cone. or it's a spoon sheath. The bingsu spoon. I mean, he does like ices, so they're like, this will help you. This is actually a mimic. Just don't believe it. If it doesn't move, it's really good at hiding. And he's like, oh, okay. This is kind of weird, but all right. And we're like, yeah, totally. It sounds bad because people are just taking advantage of him, though. But this poor guy. I feel bad. No, I don't really care that much anymore. Sorry, bud. You're living a hard life, but that's okay. For our entertainment, this is what's happening. We'll cut this off. Actually, we're going to do cut and sew, and then I'm going to do this and make it a square. Because I'm just going to have this flop over. I'll have to flip my normals, but our little chef with his giant spoon sheath. Okay, hear me hear me out while this is loading. So he does have stats in stealth, but it specifically only works when applying to like stealing food off of other people's plates. That's why he has the spoon. I mean, it's clearly for a dagger, but what if it was a spoon and it was like one of those retractable spoons? And like that's where his his stats like really excel. He's like, I'm gonna definitely be a rogue because look how good I am at stealing bingsu. Look how good I am at stealing food. I'm gonna be a rogue because they're cool. I think so, Rosemary. I think there's definitely stories that are like that, I'm sure. This is actually the most basic baldric here. Like, you've seen those freeloader spoons, like those gag gifts? Like, it could be that. Do I want to do this? I don't like that. I'm going to delete this thing. I mean, it is the most basic of all of the possible baldrics of just like, here you go. I'm going to do this, though. I'll leave it because we're almost done here, but I'm gonna add. Flip the normal first. Okay. You little. Okay. Flip. I trust in the software. Just making it flat. Super, super basic. Because it is most definitely the simplest version that exists. Sort yourself out. Come on. Okay. Let's see. Just because I can, I do want this to be a little thinner. Make this so ugly. Let me grab. We could add another buckle here. But let's see. I might just cheat a buckle. Hardware trims, buckle. Add to workspace. Sure. Glue. So this is what trim looks like. So it's not going to collide with anything else. It's not going to have any sort of other weight on anything else than what it's touching. But you can see this little glue dropper here. Okay. And as you can also see, I'm struggling with the shape here, or the angle. That's because of oops, don't want to touch that. The angle of this and how I turn it. Oftentimes it's very useful, but sometimes it's a little bit not. Is the little blue dot here is where the pivot is going to be occurring. Sometimes it's useful. Sometimes it's a little annoying, as some users have encountered. But just keep an eye on it. While you're working, and it shouldn't be too much of a problem. I lost the chat. There you are. So as you can see, it's kind of glued on top like that, which is nice, but oops. So you can see here, it's specifically glued onto one point though. So that is why I like to instead go to, where is this? Buckle OBJ. File folder, okay. I definitely need to tell the team. Extract. So I've actually extracted it in my main document folder, so when I refresh this and actually go to the piece, it should be fixed. Let me refresh this one. Where did it go? Fine. Refresh. Buckle. Oh, am I in the... No, I'm in the correct asset folder. Assets. Materials. Hardware. Buckle. OBJ. I also just dragged and dropped it from the folder. Load type add, not open, because it would delete my avatar. So now I have the buckle in the scene as an OBJ. So this does have collision now, and it's imported as an avatar. So I'm just going to select that. Oops, not change that. Give me that. Now I can just kind of cheat it. And rotate. He just really wants to be a rogue, but he's not the best rogue. But he's trying his best. Okay, he's trying his best, guys. And you know, it's okay. Five minutes. Thank you, Rosemary. Come here, you. I'm gonna actually move this down here. So this will be our last little one, and I'm just going to cheat this. So I'm just going to select mesh, find this mesh, find it where it is on this. Okay. So this mesh is still too large on my buckle, on my strap here. So I'm going to make it 10 particle distance. And then what I'll end up doing is using the select mesh tool, and I'll just select the area directly behind the buckle. And then I'm just going to pull it around so that it'll go around that bar. So select mesh box, making sure to see where it is, and then I can just kind of check. So everything else is frozen, so I can move this and just pull it. And simulate. Layer 5. So this thing still has a offset of 3, so we'll do an offset of 1. And I can also just select this portion here and make its particle distance smaller by choosing a subdivide. So right now it's at 10. If I subdivide, it'll be at 5. And then we'll see. I might have to move the buckle a little bit, but that's fine. And I can change the shape and size of this buckle too. Because I have still imported it as an avatar and an OBJ, I can change the size of my avatar. So it is causing it to be pushed through, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. select you, and then, where is it? Select, oh yeah, I didn't do a very good job, did I? Come here. I'm sorry, buddy. There you go. Okay. Same thing, just grabbing my mesh. That's too large. Select mesh box. Come here. Come here, you little. Fine. Come here. And then that should fix it. Once this is done, then we'll kind of unfreeze everything but not simulate it, and then our interesting little rogue we'll call it done. I'll do a little bit more cleanup when I get a chance to. I am updating some of our tutorials, so it will make it a little easier for newer people, but that does take more time, so it'll take a little bit of time before I finish these buckles. Why are you colliding? Can we, excuse me? Make everything 0. And then this is 1. Why are we doing this? What's up, Buttercup? Come here. Why are we going underneath? What are we doing? My normals are facing the correct direction. Why at this last point are you deciding to pitch a fit? There you go. Okay. Oh, other way around. Go underneath. Okay, there we go. Excuse me. Excuse me. What? I don't know why it's doing this. Why are you just suctioning directly into that thing? Fine. I'm just going to deactivate you. Try again. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing this. Come here. It's clearly something I did, but I don't know specifically what it is yet. because it wasn't doing this it wasn't doing this in the beginning. So I've checked all my normals. Thank you. Have a good rest of your day, guys. I'm gonna end it soon as well, ideally. His name is Rumpelstiltskin. Yeah. What's a cooking utensil that works with that? Okay. Control J. Skin offset. I don't want to measure it. Control A. All right. Y. Now it's the case of like, you've seen the struggle, so now I need to finish it. You. Come here. You know what? We're just gonna do this. I'm just gonna attach it as a trim. Just for the sake of everyone watching this, and then I'm gonna come back to this and fix it. Because it does have weight. Let's see. Scale XYZ. Let's do unlock aspect ratio. We'll do 35 because I don't want to be too wide. Oh, I don't want it that way. 40. That's still okay. 50. Let's just say that I am not done with the stream. And there we go. There's our buckle. Our little Rumpelstiltskin buckle here. I'll clean them up a little bit and then I'll share the images on Discord. There's clearly something going on with my direction of my normals. So I will also let you guys know what I fixed. There you go. But with it being a trim, you can have weight. Otherwise, you don't have weight. Normally you don't have this be much of a trim. You would have this be the OBJ that I did up here. But you can do this if you want. The trim just doesn't have collision. Come here, you. We are working on it. Like, you can see that there's a little button here that we are working towards getting the collision to be there, but we currently don't have it yet. Unglue. I could toggle it on, but it's actually not prepared yet. But since we're here, Control A, Control K. We've at least created and added our accessories. It did take a little bit longer than ideal. Control, let me turn off the view here. Where is it? Where's the cloth? Show. Ah. But there is our hilarious rogue But we've made shoes, we've made his gambeson, and then we've applied the buckles here. I can also change the color of these buckles too. Just you know. You can change them. Just make sure to select them. This does also apply to your avatar. Make this darker. Things like that. And then we have the trim that decided to fight me on the last 5 minutes. And our ice cream cone. So I'll clean this up. I don't know what to name this guy. I'll go with Rumpelstiltskin. Rumpelquiltskin, because he's got quilt there. But thank you guys for joining me on this the last day of this one. With a little bit of a fight for that ice cream cone. But as you can see, this was a great example of why I do a lot of the streams, and I do them in separate garment pieces, because it does increase my speed of workflow, whereas this one was a lot slower because I did things a lot of the hard way. So thank you guys again for joining us, me, and for those of you who jumped in on the chat. I hope you had fun, and I hope you liked the story that I'm blaming most of you guys that this is now the story for our poor Rumpelstiltskin chef rogue. So his horrible, sad backstory is all your fault. And I blame all of you for that instead. And I take no responsibility. But thank you guys for joining us. And I'll see you guys on the Discord channel. I'll start a new thread so that you all can join in and decide what you want to see next stream. As well as for those of you who are new here, the link to the Discord is going to be in the description of the YouTube channel, as well as of the video here, as well as it's in the links that are available on the Twitch channel. So I will see you guys next week, or at least in the Discord channel soon. Have a good rest of your day, and